The timing of my deposition, which I had been told could last 8 hours or more, works to my advantage. It's difficult to schedule a bunch of lawyers together before 1 in the afternoon, so I have time to gather myself. At 11:30, I park at my attorney's office. I have time to walk along the Willamette River and listen to my music and look across at Kaiser Hospital, where my oldest daughter was born. That's so cool. Scary, but cool. We were 22 at the time and still babies ourselves. It helps me to think of my family. Even though my abuse took place in this city, so did many other major events in my life. At noon, I go into the office as prearranged to get last-minute instructions from my attorney. Keep answers short. Don't volunteer anything. Don't expound. The best answers are yes, no, and I don't recall. This is not the time to tell your story. That comes when we get a jury. Be honest. They will try to trip you up by asking the same question differently. The best way to not get confused is to just tell the truth. He closes by telling me the opposing attorney can ask anything he wants. There is no judge to stop him, and my attorney cannot say a word. If things get desperate, he can call for a break so we can go outside the room and talk. This is not quite what I envisioned. I can't even bring my tablet where I'd written the 23rd Psalm and the names of friends and family who would be with me in spirit. I feel completely alone, cut off from the outside world, which I'm pretty sure is the intent. The week before, my counselor had asked me to visualize what would help me make me feel safe in a potentially hostile setting. I came up with a suit of armor. The lawyers couldn't get to me, and I could always lower the face guard so they couldn't even see me. We had discussed the setting's power differential and its similarity to being abused and made to feel vulnerable. Revictimization was her term for it. Unfortunately, I'm sure that this process alone would keep some victims from coming forward. When I walked into the room, I was overwhelmed. I expected to see a couple of church attorneys and my attorney, but all 10 seats at the conference table were taken. They brought everybody they could find, at least 4 attorneys, the bishop, an accountant or 2, and a court reporter. Gang rape is the term that comes to my mind, except only one of their attorneys could play the role of inquisitor. He does the job while the others watch. His questions range from was I sexually active in high school, outside of the abuse of course, to hadn't I lived a pretty successful life. What do I really have to complain about? He doesn't ask many questions about the abuse itself. Primarily, he wants everybody to see what a great life I've had. And he obviously had talked to people I had worked with in the past, and they'd confirmed his game plan, because of course they knew me so well. This interrogation is carried out with more smiles and nicey-nice than you can possibly imagine. 4+ hours later, one of the spectator attorneys had another appointment to go to, so our little gathering comes to an abrupt end. Peaches and Cream, aka Interrogator, puts me on notice that he has not yet done questioning me, and depending on how things go, he would need another appointment to finish. Afterwards, my attorney tells me I did an excellent job, as good as he's seen. Imagine the emotional state of someone who has been badgered for over 4 hours with 10 other people watching. I feel catatonic, drained, and empty. What I'd like to ask every attorney and judge, isn't there a way to change this system to make it easier on the victim? Perhaps limit the interrogation parameters or allow an advocate appointed by the court to sit beside the accused. I know of a movement in legal circles called collaborative family law. The intent, as I understand it, is to help people move through the difficult process of divorce as amicably as possible without the added pain of embittered conflict. How much better would it would be if legal actions involving abuse, the institutions offered to hire collaborative attorneys and resolve these cases outside of the courts. It would be less costly and less painful for everyone involved. The time has come. Lawyers and legislators, bishops and churches, school districts and principals. Whether or not you perceive abusers as monsters, I can assure you their behavior and its results are monstrous. Hundreds of years ago, it was common in some cultures to perform human sacrifice. The thought repulses us now. How could people allow it? It occurs today in the form of child sex abuse. Our government and each of us allow it to happen by our inaction. The destruction of life, Motive and purpose could not be more complete than if you drained the blood of a child and replaced it with fear, dread, mistrust, and loneliness. The sexual abuse of our children has robbed our society of millions of potential teachers, leaders, and contributors to a better world. The time has come to quit allowing the system to re-victimize the victims. Start prosecuting the pedophiles, no matter how much time has passed. Make abusers accountable for the destruction they wreak. The time has come to pull our collective head out of the sand. The time has come to deal with that which we would not speak of, and we wish would go away on its own, but will not. The time has come to defend our children, past, present, and future. Fulfill our moral obligation to those who are most vulnerable and valuable, our children.